actually thought about going in and putting some thoughts down. And I kind of, thought in my head, like, these are some of the things I want to talk about and hit on. But then I was like, really, I don't think we really need to get specific about this. And you and I can talk about anything for an hour. So,
I mean,
I think we'll be fine.
I feel like we've proven that at this point. Hello, and welcome to Middleish, the podcast about moderation in all things. I am Michael Gray.
And I am Aaron Green.
Aaron Green, everybody. Aaron Green, the one and only.
Yes.
The one and only.
Bows.
Yes.
Big bows. Yes. Bravo. Thank you. How are you? You're yawning already.
No, I was doing the, the crowd cheering for Aaron Green. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, not bored. Not yet, anyway. 30 seconds into it, I'm still hanging.
We have a really thrilling topic. So
I'm already checking
we might see how we go.
I think today's topic's going to be great. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
But before we do that, how is ya?
I am doing well. We had some beautiful spring weather last week, and I made the most of it and got out in the garden beds and planted my garden. And nice. We actually had a surprise birthday party for Matt. His birthday, his 50th, was at the beginning of the month. And
celebrating all month. He's working it, milking it.
He did this last year during the pandemic. I made him cake and a special dinner like once a week, every, week for the month of April. He got kind of spoiled with that.
Every week? Yeah.
Wow. We had like a nice, dinner, dessert kind of thing.
It was set pandemic. Expectations.
We're sitting at home doing nothing. And we're like, okay, we might as well make some food. So last week, his coworkers planned this party for him and another coworker who both turned 50 in April. And so it was a surprise. They lure him to the park with this promise of a rousing photo shoot. Yeah. He gets to go do this photo shoot and they make up this
rousing
story.
Or arousing?
Rousing, separate words. Yeah.
They're luring him, a rousing photo shoot.
The parks here in Boise, you don't know what you're going to get.
Anything goes, man. Anything goes.
Who says Idaho is a conservative state? So he comes home early and I'm getting ready. Like I'm doing my hair and putting on some makeup at like 2 p.m, which never happens. Like if he comes home and I'm not in sweatpants, he's like, oh, what do you have going on today?
Big day today.
So for me to be getting ready. So anyway, I wouldn't say he suspected anything, but he was hopeful that he didn't have to go do this photo shoot that he was told he had to go do. And of course we show up and there's a taco truck and margaritas and fun. And so it was a good time, but and of course, so many of our friends are fully vaccinated now and it was outside. And so it was the first time that we really got together with a group of people in over a year and feel okay about it. And to actually talk to people, everybody was asking like, are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated? Okay. We could give each other a hug, like, and be friends. And so that was really fun. But I do have a little bit of a funny story before that, related to the pandemic too. We had some ceiling fans replaced in our house that day. And I had originally scheduled them to come that afternoon during the party. So I wouldn't even be here. Just come in and do your work,
we don't
have to mess with it. And these 2 service personnel show up and 3 hours early. So I literally had like just gotten out of the shower. I'm like dripping wet and I'm trying to, I'm listening to this online webinar, continuing education stuff. Like I have my morning sorted on my end and it doesn't plan for having two strange men in my house when I'm like getting dressed and whatever. And so I'm annoyed anyway. And they're like, well, we can't stand around for 3 hours and wait. So do you want us to come in and do this or do you want to reschedule? And I was just like super annoyed. And I finally asked one of the guys, do you have masks? And he goes, well, no, not on me. I'm like, we are over a year into this pandemic and you're going into people's houses and you don't have a mask like in your pickup or in a pocket. I was irritated.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I have some you can borrow. Do you want to wear? Would you wear them if I gave them to you? And one of the guys was like, no. And the one guy was like, yeah, we will. So I went and got the first two masks that I got in this entire pandemic. So they're not, I mean, they're well worn and
you're not going to give them the good ones.
They're pink floral. And imagine my satisfaction watching these two guys with the beards and they're blue collar workers walk around with pink floral masks.
I hope they were thick.
I honestly didn't care that I was in a completely different part of the house. And so I was way more than 6 feet away. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I was just the principle of it. Like, bring a damn mask. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And so that was slightly satisfying to see the pink floral motif going on with the beard hanging out underneath. But anyway, I'm not a difficult customer, but
no, not at all.
I have my standards.
I got my standards, baby. So
did you have any excitement last week?
I'll tell you this. So this weekend, my brother and his niece flew in to come visit. So I got to see him and spend some time with him and my oldest daughter, Lila, and his daughter, Olivia. They're about like a year and a half apart, but they've always been really close. And she came down and they got to just have the whole weekend together. I got to spend time with my brother. It was great. But on Friday night, I think it was Friday or Saturday night, we had this thunderstorm, Aaron, that was insane. I have never heard thunder like this in my life. Okay. So it was like the whole sky would light up, like the whole sky. It was like daylight for a second. And then this thunder would like just roll. It would last like 15 seconds. Like it wasn't like, boom and done. It would just last and last and last. And it was getting closer and getting closer. But there were like several minutes in between like thunderclaps. So it would be like significantly closer each time, right?
Yeah.
And there were a couple where like, whoa, this is crazy. And then this one claps, I swear, like it was sitting on my roof.
Oh my gosh.
I thought my windows broke because I sounded like glass cracking. They shook so hard. I physically felt it.
Yeah. Reverberating.
Like it was unsettling how like much my organs like vibrated. I was sure there was like some kind of damage to my house. Aaron, it was so unbelievably loud. I mean, like a gunshot right beside your ear. It was insane. It's just like, oh my God, like surely that's the closest one. It can't get closer, right? Because if it gets closer, like we're going to have damage. We're going to have broken windows. I was looking around like what window broke? Because I heard glass crack. So it must have just like shook in the frames or something.
Wow.
It was insane. So that's kind of fun.
I love a good thunderstorm.
Yeah. It was a little too much though. Like I thought but this was like, okay, this is unsettling. This is a little nerve-wracking.
Keep moving, storm. Yeah.
Yeah, which it did. That was the loudest one. But still, like, over the course of the next 20 minutes, there were probably 3 or 4 more that were still unbelievably loud. Yeah. Like, it was insane. It was like, holy crap, I've never experienced anything like this before. It was wild. Gosh. Yeah.
A couple years ago, we had
all the kids slept through it somehow.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Our house is literally shaking. The pictures behind me on the wall were rattling.
And the kids slept through it?
Yeah. They're like, what thunderstorm? I'm like, you're freaking kidding me.
That is so funny. A couple years ago, we had a crazy like midday thunderstorm come through in the spring. and lightning struck a house just up the hill from us.
Oh, geez.
And we didn't, I mean, we knew it was super close because it was one of those, like, we have these big pane windows and they, just cracked and rattled and the whole house shakes and it was insane. And, everything lights up when the lightning and the thunder are at the exact same time, that it's like right on top of you. And within 5 minutes we heard sirens, and Matt and I are like, oh, shoot, that did hit somewhere. Cause we were kind of, we kind of peek outside and look after, after the strike, and we didn't see anything. And sure enough, there was a house fire just up the hill where the lightning had struck. Wild. It was insane. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. Like I said, I love a good thunderstorm, but I've been in those situations where you're like, okay, the fun's over.
We can pull this back a little bit, right?
All right, that's enough.
To go to 11, maybe an 8. That's fine.
Right.
Oh man, but yeah, it was interesting. It was a unique experience, that's for sure.
Very good.
Yeah. So you want to dive in?
Sure.
All right.
Let's talk about our really exciting topic.
Buckle up, sit down, because boy, do we have a topic for you.
You know how excited I get about talking about food. And we had the episode about veggies, which we both joked you're never going to fill an entire hour just talking about vegetables. And we did. And it was really exciting and interesting, right?
So you know what we're going to talk about today? We're kicking it up a notch. Go ahead, Erin. Lay it on them.
Salads.
Yeah, baby, salads. Woo!
Building the perfect salad. Salad. I'm passionate about this because, as you will discover in this conversation, there's much more to building a salad and putting a salad together than just throwing some greens in a bowl with some dressing. And I also think that salads get a pretty bad rap, and they're sort of promoted in our food world as being the boring go-to when you're restricting and you're trying to lose weight.
Right.
Have a salad, it's kind of thrown out there. Yeah. Like flippantly or, somebody kind of boring. I don't know. It's like a boring go-to meal option to get your veggies in.
Right.
And I have come to appreciate a really good hearty salad, especially as an athlete, when, I'll make my salads in like a mixing bowl. I'm not even exaggerating, like one of those Pyrex mixing bowls, and just put all kinds of goodies in it that we'll talk about. And nutritionally, there is a lot that can be done with a salad to make it work for you and improve your health in ways you might not have known before. Yeah. So we'll talk about that too.
And I'll be talking about potato salad and macaroni salad, my favorite salads. So it's going to be well-rounded.
They're made with plants, right? Yeah. Potatoes, grains, pasta, sure. Yeah. They're made with plants.
It's all veggies, man.
I think that's a good point though, when, that is just an illustration of, some people think that salads are always the healthy option. They're always the best option. Well, there's a lot of different kinds of salads out there, and there's a lot of different things that go into salads, some of which we'll talk about today.
I have an example of that.
That can build up salads in a nourishing, healthful way, or can bring them down a notch and kind of bring them along the lines of, some entrees that you probably wouldn't have chosen because, quote, that's an unhealthy item, but you choose the salad, and guess what? You're still getting loads of fat and sodium and other things that you might be trying to avoid. So
I'm not really going to talk about potato salad and macaroni salad, just so we're clear. I was being silly.
Good. Because
for once, I thought I'd try it, see if it took.
You and your sarcasm.
What? I know what you're talking about.
I know, it's totally new. Everybody who
#
listens,
shocking.
Yeah. Everyone who listens knows to take Michael super seriously.
Only if I'm on like my soapbox, right? That's when I'm serious. The rest of the time I'm just being a jackass. And Erin's like, all right, back to my point.
So did you grow up liking salad? eating salad? What's your
Um,
history with salads?
let's see. Yes, no. So yes, grew up eating salads. I think I answered that in the right order. No, not really liking them. Not as a kid.
Mm,
I had a little more appreciation for them probably around high school. But salad was something that was almost always on the table with dinner.
hmm.
I'm still my parents. I mean, just about almost every meal, there's a salad along with it. That's just kind of, they grew up in that era where you have a main meal and a starch and a salad and a veggie, and, there's like
Yeah.
five things. So salad was something that I, I kind of had to eat at least some of. I didn't really enjoy much until later on in life. I didn't like
Hmm.
lettuce, and I was a big fan of tomatoes as a kid. So, I mean, when it's a
Yeah.
small little dinner salad, that's like two of the main ingredients.
Yeah. That's all. That's all. Maybe some croutons if you're
Some
lucky.
croutons and shredded carrots. Yeah, I mean, I like those. How
we
about
had,
you?
we had, yeah, we had similar salads growing
Mhm.
up, and I grew up on iceberg lettuce, and
Mhm.
occasionally those little mixes that had a little shredded cabbage for color and a little shredded
Mhm.
carrot,
Getting all
and
fancy.
ranch dressing and Thousand Island were the only two
Yeah.
in my household growing up, and I didn't like either of them. And so if my parents made me eat a salad, I would just eat the lettuce plain,
Yeah.
and they thought I was insane. But I was one of those kids that didn't like condiments or sauces or
Right.
creamy textures at all. And so for me, eating this crunchy, crisp iceberg lettuce was just fine if I didn't
Mhm.
have to slather it in ranch.
Mhm.
And it took a long, long time for me to really open up to salad dressings. And I think it was college, honestly, when, just living in a sorority and having a salad bar and observing some of my friends go through and put things on their plates and mix salads together. I started experimenting a little bit and finding flavors that I liked. And that's where
Yeah.
my appreciation for salads grew.
Yeah. I think for me, it was probably a game changer once like ranch was kind of commonplace. And I think once you started
Hmm.
buying that, then I was like, all right, I can get on board with this. Because ranch like wasn't a big thing when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like we kind of were around when ranch got
Yeah.
popular or
Yeah. It was like
came
high
about
school when all of
maybe.
a sudden you put ranch on
Like
everything
everybody's
and
dipping their
in everything.
pizza and breads to everything goes in ranch. And it was like, where'd ranch come from? Because I don't
Yeah.
remember it even being a thing as a kid. Maybe it was. It just wasn't like popular. I don't
Hmm.
know. But so we always had like this jar of Lighthouse Roquefort
Hmm.
dressing, right? We
Yeah.
had that the blue cheese, um, usually like an Italian dressing, and then like a green goddess, I think it was.
Mm.
And we'd have some, and I think that was maybe like a some sort of vinaigrette. And my mom used to make like her own like oil and vinegar salad dressing, which I
Yeah.
didn't care for as a kid. But once ranch came around, I was like, okay, I can put like a cup of this on my salad and eat it. I can get those veggies in.
Quick little fun fact. Did you know that Lighthouse dressing is made in Idaho?
I did not know that.
I think it's in Sandpoint up
Really?
north. I
I
might
didn't
have
know
to
that.
fact check that one, but yeah, that was something
Fact check.
I actually I went to college with um the sons of the parents that started
Oh, really?
Lighthouse dressings. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Interesting.
So the salad dressing, let's go a little bit deeper on salad
Let's
dressing
go. Let's
for
go
a
deep
moment.
on. See, guys,
See
like
how
this is going to
exciting.
be wildly entertaining. We're going
I
deep on
know.
salad
I
dressings.
know, you guys. Take a deep breath here. I think that the dressing is often looked at something that needs to cover up the flavor of the vegetables. Like you
Right.
have to coat the entire salad in the
Right.
dressing. At least that's how I kind of grew up seeing salad dressing used. I mean, it
Hmm.
was like a big squeeze on all over the salad. And now I totally look at dressing as a different way because first of all you can have creamy dressings or you can have like a vinegar based dressing.
Hmm.
So the big difference there is a nutritionally there's a big calorie difference usually between cream based or kind of cheese based dressings and a vinaigrette type of dressing.
Hmm.
So just when you're making those decisions on what to put on your salad, just know that vinegar-based dressings are probably going to be lighter and probably made with, olive oil or some other, plant-based oil, whereas the cream-based dressings would be a little bit heavier. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. Just be aware of that as you're choosing your dressings. But I had no idea that there's this whole world of, dressings for salads that beyond ranch and Thousand Island.
Right. Oh, we
And
had
that you
Thousand
didn't
Islands as a
have
kid
to
too.
use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that you didn't have to use them. Like, I mean, it's
like it was the main part of the salad.
Like squeezing. I just picture like squeezing this, like you're pouring milk on cereal, just everywhere. And that sound should gross you out, because it grossed me out, like seeing the salad swimming in the dressing.
It always made me laugh, that sound. Still does.
But
I'll be honest.
I have a lot of fun making my own salad dressings. And I think the proper ratio, if you go to like a culinary class or something, is like a 3-to-1 ratio oil to acid. So whatever acid you're using, whether it's vinegar or you could use citrus juice. Some people use mustard. There's lots of different acidic kinds of ingredients you can use to make a vinaigrette. And then it should actually contain a lot of oil. But I mean, chop up some herbs and throw them in there. Now that I have the garden in, I'll chop up shallots or dill or scallions or oregano. I mean, all kinds of different things, and make it into a salad dressing. Just put it in a mason jar and shake it up. And they're really easy to find some different recipes online. And the reason I'm going deep here on salad dressings is because I think that that's one of the things that can make salads really boring for people, is they kind of get stuck in this rut that this is the only, kind of dressing I know, or this is the only kind of salad I know. Where if you start expanding a little bit and trying some different things, you might realize that a nice vinaigrette paired with, a sweet fruit kind of option on a salad is a wonderful combination, and a totally different experience eating a salad than just having, your standard kind of thing. So we'll talk a little more about combinations, but
I'm just going to mention one right now. One of my favorite combinations is an orange citrus vinaigrette with strawberries in a salad. That combination.
Yeah, that sounds very summery.
It's so delicious, and it feels so fresh and light, and it's one of my favorites. So my question to you, what is your top oil-based dressing and your top creamy dressing? Yeah. Let's do that.
So I think my top cream-based dressing would probably be Caesar.
Okay.
And I have found some really good yogurt Caesars. Bolthouse Farms makes a good one that's a yogurt Caesar. Matt and I will actually make, here's another salad tip that I guess, I'll answer the vinegar-based dressing question in just a second. But while I'm on this tangent with the Caesar.
Tangent away.
Grilled kale Caesar salads. They're amazing. People that so I don't eat raw kale. I mean, I will if it's like shredded into a salad in very small amounts.
Yeah, because you're a decent person.
I am not, because I have morals.
Because you care about things.
Oh my gosh, people that like rave about kale, having just raw kale. I'm like, you gotta put it with something, or you gotta massage it with oil or with the dressing, or let it kind of sit and soak in the dressing a little bit.
Yeah.
So we will grill kale. And I mean, I'm talking like 2 bunches of kale, massage oil and, wash the kale, de-stem it, massage oil into it, and then throw it directly on the grill grates until it turns bright green, gets a little bit limp, and it'll have a little bit of char around the edges. Throw that in a bowl, bring it inside, chop it up, and then put this Caesar dressing on it, little Parmesan. We serve chicken with it, which we'll talk about the benefits of having, protein or something really filling on the salad. And we'll eat it with, a crusty bread of some kind. It is probably the simplest. It's kind of a team effort. One person's grilling the kale, the other person's taking care of, other things. It's so delicious and so filling. And the kale really stands up to the grilling. And a fun fact that grilling or roasting vegetables actually brings out sweet notes instead of bitter notes. So when people tell me they hate the taste of kale, I'm like, well, cook it. Try it cooked into something, especially if it's grilled or roasted. So you get a little bit of that caramelization going on, or that char will actually bring out the sweetness and kind of tone down some of those bitter components. So that's one of my favorites, and probably why I love Caesar dressing so much, because that's like, I mean, Matt and I'll do that every other week or something in the summer months when the kale is going crazy in the garden. So then vinegar-based dressings, man, I love a balsamic vinaigrette. I've had a lot of vinaigrettes that I really like, but there is, I mean, like sweet onion vinaigrettes or like citrus vinaigrettes are really good. Man, it's hard to choose. I don't really care for like the fruit vinaigrette, like a raspberry vinaigrette. I know some people really get down with those, and that's not my jam, but I'll have just about any vinaigrette. Balsamic is probably my go-to.
Yeah.
Do you have favorites?
For vinaigrette, either probably balsamic or like a citrus, just because I think citrus, it just adds a real brightness that I like. And balsamic too, it's kind of bright in a different way, but I like those a lot. And then for more of a cream base, probably honey mustard. I like honey mustard dressing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, those would be. I mean, I like ranch. Ranch is probably
it's a good standard.
Like what I would get most often for a cream, just because a lot of places don't have honey mustard, for a dressing. But yeah, honey mustard would be my go-to. Creamy. Like if I'm at a salad bar, I'm getting honey mustard.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's helpful to ask when you go out to order a salad, ask what the dressing choices are if they're not listed on the menu, because chances are, I mean, sure, you could just go with your standard ranch or balsamic vinaigrette, but sometimes I'll ask what the choices are and they'll list something like, an Asiago mustard vinaigrette, or some interesting
Like,
Vidalia onion something, and I'm like, oh, that sounds wonderful. So that's one of my suggestions, is to just ask, and branch out a little bit and try some different flavors.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk greens, Erin. You're building a salad. What greens are you going with?
Not raw kale.
What about iceberg lettuce?
Iceberg lettuce is not my favorite. I just find it kind of flavorless. And to be honest, I think the water content of the iceberg lettuce tends to almost dilute the flavors in the rest of the salad.
It's kind of too wet.
So it doesn't do anything for me. That said, I think that people totally blow this out of proportion when they say, well, iceberg lettuce has no nutrient content. Yes, it does.
First of all, it has water in it. If that's the only thing, that's good.
Still water and fiber and vitamin C. There is some iron in it. There's some other, trace vitamins and minerals. I really think people get too far down the line with that. Like, oh, iceberg lettuce, it has no nutrient content. So what? You're going to just not eat the salad because it's iceberg lettuce? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Forget that there are other veggies in there with it.
Right. And forget that a veggie is still, you're still getting benefit from that veggie. But I would probably choose romaine or green leaf or red leaf lettuce. Although I have really found some great combinations with arugula or some of those other stronger greens that have a stronger flavor. I should have looked up some of the names of them, because I'm terrible at listing some of the greens, but I think one is called mescaline. Does that sound right? It's like this.
That's the drug, right?
Curly.
Mescaline.
What's that?
That's the drug.
Is it a drug?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I don't put drugs on my salads.
I just sprinkle some LSD on top. Have a great time. Mescaline was. Did you ever see Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Did you ever see that Hunter S. Thompson?
I don't
movie
think so.
based on his book? Are you familiar with Hunter S. Thompson?
I'm right.
How'd you spell
Mescaline. Mesclun.
Oh, okay.
Mescaline. And it's like this curly, Um, let's see. Oh, it says it's a mix of assorted small young salad greens that originated in Provence, France.
Okay. See, I'm thinking
See?
mescaline, mescaline,
Okay.
which is a
See,
naturally occurring psychedelic.
enunciation obviously is important when talking about this.
Yeah, put a little mescaline in your salad.
Oh boy, you guys. Sorry
Psychedelic
about
salads,
that.
baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are probably my choices of greens, although
Mhm.
I do like chopped salads with cabbage in them. So a chopped salad, this is something I didn't realize there was an actual name or definition for this until a dietitian friend of mine was like, "Have you ever had a chopped salad?" Well, chopped salads are just this unique compilation of ingredients that are all kind of sized the same. So the idea, I mean, you could eat the salad with a spoon essentially because
Mhm.
all the ingredients are kind of chopped up to be uniform size.
Mm.
And it mixes the ingredients a lot better. And so you don't have that traditional bed of leafy greens topped with all these different things.
Right.
So a chopped salad, I think, is really good to have cabbage or something that kind of stands up to that. Being chopped into smaller pieces. If you take a delicate green and chop those into small pieces, they'll probably get wilted and
Mhm.
kind of turn very dark green with the oil and vinegar or the cream of the dressing. And some people are just put off by that
Sure.
change in texture of the salad. And
Sure.
so, if you're going to chop it up into tiny pieces, then a cabbage would work really well. And one last note on greens is Matt is notoriously not a fan of Brussels sprouts.
Hmm.
I realize they're a very polarizing
They really are,
vegetable.
right?
And I have tried roasting them. I've tried cooking them with bacon. I mean, you name it. And he's not having it. However, if you shred them in the food processor and make this, I have this salad that has like crispy shallots and cranberries and a vinaigrette that I make and some cheese and just mix it all up into this coleslaw basically with
Hmm.
shredded Brussels. He loves that stuff.
Mm.
So
Shred them
that's
raw.
another, yep, just shred them raw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like Brussels sprouts. And Lila likes Brussels sprouts. The other half of the family, not so much. Yeah.
So you
So
guys are
we're
divided.
split down the middle.
Mhm.
I like for greens, I like romaine. Iceberg can be fine. And sometimes if it's like mixed in with other things, I like a few different types of lettuce personally. I like romaine, red or green leaf, spinach.
Yeah.
Um, those are kind of my jams. I'm not big on anything that's like, or I have a hard time with arugula because it feels kind of like leafy. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's kind of like a little weedy. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I, I can eat those fine, but I prefer not. I like cabbage in there too, but those are kind of my go-tos. I like romaine, green. I like romaine and spinach. That's a great salad to me. That's a good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that mixing them is a nice option. So where
feels
arugula,
sophisticated.
yeah, it adds flavor and texture. But the
Mm.
arugula, I think if that texture is kind of off putting for you to have an entire salad, because arugula tends to have a longer stem attached to
Hmm.
it. And I get what you're saying. It's kind of
Yeah,
weedy. And I mean, it does have a stronger flavor. So an entire bed of arugula might not
right,
work for people.
right.
But chopping a little bit in there and mixing it with your spinach or your romaine or some other greens, I think is a really nice way to
Yeah,
add just a little difference in flavor and texture and
yeah.
nutrients. I mean, different greens will have just slightly different nutrient profiles.
Hmm. Well,
So,
and just you get a more complex flavor, I think,
mhm.
which is, I think, something people aren't real used to with the greens of a salad. And I think it can, I don't know, to me, that's your base, right, for a salad. And I think if you just are, I mean, unless you like really dig iceberg lettuce, then fine, that's cool. But if you're just kind of sad about your salad because your lettuce sucks, like, you can make that a whole lot better,
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing
We
worse
can
than a
work with
sad
this.
salad. It's a
I
sad,
know.
wet salad.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm taken back to I went out to this restaurant in college and I remember being with my uncle and I think I was with a couple of their family members and I'm eating my salad and I get to the bottom of the plate and I'm trying to like scoop up the last couple bites. And I'm like, why can't I pick up this leaf of lettuce? And it wasn't like, I was thinking it was like these chopped up, like a Caesar salad would have.
Yeah.
I ended up having this entire leaf of lettuce that, thinking back on it, it's similar to a leaf of lettuce that you might find served under a hamburger as like or a sandwich as just a presentation piece.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wilted and it was just like laying there, just very dead and sad at the bottom of the plate. And I had already eaten all the salad on top of it. So I'm kind of scratching my head and I'm like, well, this is kind of gross. And I sort of pick it up with my fork and I'm like, I'm not eating that. And I showed my uncle and he was like, that looks like it could have been served already. It somehow ended up on your plate. And I was so repulsed. And so when the server came back, he specifically showed her and tried to kind of joke about it and was like, we left you a nice wilted piece of lettuce that was in her salad. And she was like, oh, haha, no, thank you. And just, she was completely oblivious to it. But anyway,
Right.
you mentioned sad salad, and that is my sad salad story.
So last week we went out to eat and Kathleen got a salad. And about halfway through, she's kind of looking at it funny. And she like tilts it up a little bit, the bowl, and like kind of pushes the lettuce back. And she's like, look at this. And there's like 3/4 of a cup of liquid just sitting in there.
Is it dressing?
It was the dressing,
water,
colorish, but also like lighter. I don't know if they just washed the lettuce right before and didn't, get any of the water off. But she was like, this is like soup.
Oh, gross.
That's a sad salad.
Yeah. That's another thing is back to the dressing comment real quick. It should be a flavor enhancer and not a flavor cover up. So I mean, I guess some people like bathing their salads in dressing, but that to me sounds pretty gross. And it changes the texture of the greens, especially those delicate greens that will, get wilted. And on that note, if you do wash your greens before you're making a salad, make sure that you pat them dry really well, or ideally you would wash the head of lettuce or the lettuce leaves and maybe lay them out on towels and just let them kind of dry for an hour or so before you build your salad. So you don't get that wet, soupy mix, or get a
very
salad
least
spinner.
Give them a shake.
Yeah. Get some of that. Have you ever used a salad spinner?
Put it in a little, did my mom
put it in the bowl and then you like pump it and it uses centrifugal force to strip the water off of the leaves.
Yeah, I've seen them. I don't think I've used one.
Yeah, they're great.
My mom had as a kid something called this. It wasn't salad. Was it salad shooter?
Oh, that's to chop up things.
Yeah.
My mom had one of those too.
Was that like they had like
little handheld food processor?
Yeah, and the little attachment looked like a big thimble, kind of.
Yeah,
and it had like different. And you'd put and inevitably someone would always like lose half a finger on that thing. That thing was intense. Just cranking it around, shoving veggies in there. It's fingers, just like this blade that you're just cranking on. Yeah.
I think that's how the chopped salad was born, is you could put anything in the salad shooter and just shoot away.
But what it was great for was grating cheese. Like, whoo, talk about fast. Yeah. But we had one of those. And we didn't have a salad spinner. Yeah.
So salad spinner would prevent the soup.
Right. Yeah.
That Kat had. Yeah. Let's talk about cheese and other flavor additions, because I think this is another missed opportunity to make salads more exciting.
Right.
Is the kind of cheese that's on them. So if you go to any standard salad bar, you might find cheddar or blue cheese, maybe feta, but I really like experimenting with some stronger cheeses, some hard cheeses, those with like a nutty flavor, whether it's Asiago or a really strong Parmesan or something like that. Yeah. I think it doesn't take much either, but that wonderful flavor lift that you get. And I mean, cheese is, especially those hard cheeses like Parmesan, are notorious for umami flavor, which if you haven't heard of umami, that is our fifth flavor sense on the tongue. So you have salty, sour, bitter, sweet, and umami. And umami, we could, get into the weeds on that, but just know that it is a different flavor experience than just those standard four that we learned about. And Parmesan
It's
cheese is a
delicious.
really,
Yeah.
yes, Parmesan cheese is a really wonderful way to get that umami flavor. And I think that is a nice complement to some of those, potentially bitter compounds that you do
Yeah.
get in vegetables.
Yeah. So I'm happy with cheddar. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not my favorite, but it's good. I think it works really well on most salads. But I like feta. I like blue cheese sometimes. I like blue cheese, but I got to be in the mood for it just
Mhm.
because it's a powerhouse of flavor, it's
Yeah.
super strong. And that goes with anything blue cheese, like a blue cheese hamburger or something. It's like, I got to be in the right mood. If I'm in the mood, I'm going to love it. If not, I'm going to wish I'd got something else. I do like Parmesan on a salad a whole lot.
Mhm.
And I just want to say this: if you're using Parmesan on anything, if you're buying like the little pre-grated can, stop it.
Oh, stop right now.
Get a little block of Parmesan and a little micro blade, right? Or plane,
Yeah.
and do some fresh Parmesan because your pasta, your salad, whatever. It's a world of difference. It's way
Mhm.
better. And it's not that much more, it's worth it. But I like Parmesan. Like I've had some goat cheeses in salads that I like a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had Asiago. Um, yeah. So, I mean, probably my standard, like at home, would be a cheddar, just because that's what we most
Mhm.
often have. But I do like Parmesan a lot, and I do like blue cheese and goat cheese once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the cheese addition, yes, it will add some protein. Yes, it will add the other components that you get from cheese, whether
Hmm.
that's, sodium, calcium, some other, vitamins and minerals. It also adds fat and calories.
Hmm.
So just keep that in mind. If you, I know, dun dun dun.
But we're eating salads, so we don't get any calories, right?
I know, things salads are always healthy, but just keep in mind that if you're ordering a salad that has, cheese added to it and maybe some of these other ingredients we'll talk about like bacon crumbles and nuts and craisins and crispy this and croutons and then a cream based dressing and then just
We get
pay
carried away pretty
attention
quick. Yeah.
pay attention to some of those ingredients
Yeah.
because it doesn't mean you're not getting the nutrition from the greens or the veggies or
Right.
even some of those protein items that are in the salad. But I think this is where people kind of go wrong with labeling a salad as healthy and kind of viewing it like I'm doing the right
Right.
thing by getting a salad,
Right.
when maybe you could be more satisfied getting the burger or getting the sandwich or something else on the menu that might appeal to you a little more. Sure, you might be, getting a smaller vegetable portion or something in that entree in that specific meal. It's not going to make or break your health, but just from a satisfaction standpoint,
Right.
I think this is a slippery slope where people add all of these yummy ingredients to their quote salad. And then they
Right.
justify, well, I eat a salad almost every time I go out to eat. So it must not be problematic.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. A quick little side street here. Go down this alley because this is the example I had. So my mom, she used to love at TGI Fridays. They had this cranberry pecan crusted chicken salad. Right? It's delicious, and it
Sounds like
was
it.
yeah, greens and like craisins, and then pecan crusted chicken. I don't remember what else, some other veggies and some sort of dressing, but she never got the dressing because she's allergic to onions and dressings always have onion in them. So she was just like, I love the salad so much, and I was looking it up, like, I wonder what's all in it, I just want to check it out. And I got on their website and I was like, hey, mom, so did you know this salad has 1,200 calories in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like, what?
It's
Like, you're kidding
remarkable.
me. It's a
Yeah.
salad. And that was kind of the first instance where I was like, yeah, like, okay, so this is good to note, Michael. Like, it really matters what's in the salad. If you have a client who's saying, like, I'm just eating salads all the time and I don't know what's going on, well, let's look at what's in the salad, because you have something like pecans that are delicious
Mhm.
and have very healthy fats for you, but they're super calorically dense. And when you get a
Mhm.
whole chicken breast that's covered in pecans and you got some on the
Right.
salad, you got hundreds of calories real quick. Then who
Right.
knows what else is going on in there to make it taste amazing and that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But it's just a good example that just because you're eating a salad, now, like Aaron said, you're still getting all the benefits from everything, right? You're getting all the fiber and the water and the vitamins and minerals, all that kind of stuff. But it's important to know kind of what's in it, because you might think you're doing yourself a favor and you're really not,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it can get carried away quick, because nuts and cheeses and stuff in salads are delicious, but they add up.
Mhm.
Creamy dressings are delicious, but it adds up.
Right.
Yeah.
And pay attention to that too. Like you said, all of the things they put in the salad to make it delicious. There's a salad at a local restaurant here in Boise called the BCS. It's a Boise chopped salad. It's at this local restaurant called Fork, and it's honestly one of my
Mm,
favorites. I mean, I
I love
literally will
fork.
crave it because they just use a nice mixture of greens. The flavors that they put in there just really complement each other. It's got dried currants, some locally made sharp cheddar, so that really nice sharp,
Mhm.
flavor. They make their own like buttermilk something dressing, buttermilk ranch or something. I mean, it's just
Mm,
amazing.
sounds good.
I totally love it. I am fully aware that this bowl, it's a chopped salad. So remember what I said about chopped salads? You can eat them like with a spoon, like
Like
cereal.
cereal.
I can easily power through this entire bowl of this chopped salad. And I know that the smaller the pieces of the ingredients are in the bowl, the more you can pack into this space. It's not this leafy, light,
Right.
voluminous, kind of thing. And
Dense.
it's
It's like
got
oatmeal.
chicken that's what they put, smoked trout, local Idaho trout.
Oh,
They put smoked trout in it. So these flavors are like just, it's a party in your mouth.
yeah.
Yet I'm fully aware that, I mean, it's a quote salad, but I could probably, order some other entree and have the
Hmm.
same number of calories. So just keep that in mind. And again, this is not saying that can't have a
Right.
1200 calorie meal
Sure you
if you
can.
want
Yeah.
that and it fits into your day and you're hungry for that. But just be aware, because I think a
Right.
lot of people, especially when they come to talk to you and I, they're seeking some help with
Hmm.
weight, health goals. Maybe they have a new diagnosis and they're trying to get blood sugar under control or heart
Hmm.
healthy or all these different things. And they think they're doing something really good for their health by choosing
Right.
a salad, and
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the things that make salads so virtuous when it comes to health is, yes, if it's on a bed of greens, leafy greens are so important to our health.
And
They're
we don't get near enough of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to get leafy greens into
Hmm.
people, because when I talk about cooking leafy greens or incorporating them into other things, they're kind of like, yeah, I
Hmm.
don't want to do that. I'll just eat spinach in my salad. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that. But then putting a variety of other vegetables in there. Think of colors that you can put in your salad. Think, bell peppers,
Hmm.
carrots, um,
Tomatoes,
tomatoes,
cucumbers.
cucumbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe purple cabbage. See if
Hmm.
you can get the rainbow of colors in there, and focusing on getting all of those different plant foods and the color and that increased fiber will go a long way to, first of all, giving you a interesting texture in that salad, and maybe helping you use fewer of those other items that we
Right.
know help salads taste good, like,
Right.
bacon pieces or crispy onions or croutons or cheese or some of those other,
Hmm.
slightly heavier calorically dense items.
Right. Yeah. So what are your, if you're just doing like an easy salad, what veggies are you putting in there? Like just a dinner,
I
like a
always
side salad with dinner.
Yeah, I always have a big container of spinach in the fridge.
Hmm.
So I usually have a bell pepper, and I honestly will just, whatever is there in the fridge, I'll
Yeah.
just kind of chop it up and throw it in the bowl. But
Hmm.
I will usually try and get at least two different colors in that salad, just for the visual,
Hmm.
difference. And just knowing that different colors
Right.
in fruits and vegetables offer different nutrients.
Right.
So that's one just very simple way that you can look at fruits and vegetables, enhancing your variety there, is
Right.
just choose different colors.
Right.
Um, Yeah. So my salads generally will have a couple different colors, at least two different, veggies in there, or a fruit and veggie combination. And I always have, if I don't have like an entree with protein on the side, I will always include a protein on the salad. And here's another pitfall that I think people make when they're trying to reduce calories or eat healthier, and they order a salad and maybe it tastes good and maybe at the time it seems like it has enough volume, but if you don't put any
Hour
protein,
later,
or
I'm
if
hungry.
yeah, or if you don't put any grains with it, or something that has a little
Mhm.
bit more of a satisfaction factor going on, then you're probably going to be hungry very soon after.
Right.
It's not going to stick with you as long.
Yeah.
So I'll always have some kind of a protein, whether that is an egg or some tuna or leftover salmon. I will use
Mhm.
that a lot of times out of my fridge on salads. Any leftover protein that
Yeah.
I've cooked. Beans,
Yeah.
beans are a wonderful addition to salads too, and I think often
Yeah.
overlooked.
Yep.
So
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm probably going like something simple, tomatoes and carrots at least, with like spinach and romaine,
Hmm.
and then depending if I have other stuff, but that's probably gonna be my basic simple salad. And so yeah, let's talk. You want to talk proteins or fruit next?
Sure. Any of it.
Any of it?
Let's
Let's
talk
do.
proteins.
Okay.
We already touched on that a little bit.
Okay. So let's do protein. What are your go-to proteins? You kind of mentioned them, but
Yeah, I kind of listed some of those, but I really want to emphasize that no matter what protein you choose, chances are that protein food is going to have iron in it. And the vitamin C in the vegetables or the fruit that you have on the salad helps you absorb the iron in the protein food. So that's another just pitch for bumping up your salads with a little more variety and including that protein at the same
mm,
time, because you know foods work well together. There's a
right.
symbiotic relationship with all of these different foods,
Yeah.
and so including them together is helpful for your body.
Right.
um I'm a big fan of, probably salmon is probably my most common salad topper, just because we almost always have some leftover salmon that
Hmm.
needs to be used up. um but I mean, totally a poached egg, and I'll use some of the yolk as
Hmm.
kind of a dressing. And so I'll have like another dressing flavor go on there, but then the yolk
Hmm.
acts as like a creamy dressing. I know some people, I could think of one of my friends that would probably cringing listening to this because runny yolks make her gag, but
Yeah.
but I think it's delicious. So
Yeah.
that's another idea. And then, leftover grilled chicken or steak, I think is really good. And
Hmm.
again, the beans, which are, if you go back to our gut health episode, beans and legumes are overlooked by the Western diet and underutilized, and they are so good for your digestive system. So
Yeah.
use the salad as a vehicle to get those in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So grilled chicken's probably my favorite protein on a salad. I do like a boiled egg too. I think that works really well. Um, and we've done like, some taco salads, it's ground beef, and those are fine.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm not a big fish guy, so I wouldn't do that. But I do love kidney, garbanzo, black beans on a salad. Oh, they're delicious,
Mhm.
and they're like you said, they're such an underutilized, just powerhouse. I mean, they're
Mhm.
filling. They got a ton of fiber. They've got really good protein, really good. I mean, there's so much to them. Yeah, I do like. I don't put beans on salad too often at home. Um, but if we're at a salad bar, there's going to be a bunch of beans on there because they're
Yeah.
delicious. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like beans on a
And
salad.
I think beans also, you mentioned carbs briefly. That's one more thing to think about with salads, is that they tend to be lower in carbohydrates
Mhm.
than your standard entree sandwich or whatever.
Right.
Now, this can be a great choice for somebody managing their blood glucose, or
Hmm.
for other reasons, trying to reduce carbohydrates in their diet, or have a carb light meal. But keep in mind that if you are pursuing the salad as this gateway to weight loss or eating less, that sometimes leaving those carbs out or having a completely carb-free meal could backfire just from a
Yeah.
satiety standpoint and satisfaction. And I
Yeah.
think that something like beans that have a really complex carbohydrate and a lot of fiber to go with them could be a really nice compromise on a salad so that you
Mhm.
are getting some carbohydrate. So you're not necessarily triggered to crave carbs later, in the sense that somebody who is severely restricting their carb intake might
Right.
suddenly just go hog wild when they have a chance to eat some,
Right.
chips or bread or something. I hear
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah.
This would be a way to get some of those carbs in there, and you're getting protein, and you're getting some wonderful other
Mhm.
nutrients in there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, how about fruit? What are you doing with fruit?
Mm. I tend to like dried fruit on
Okay.
salads, which would be um mainly cranberries probably are my go-to. I do have a recipe for a farro salad. And I know this strays just a little bit from the green salads that we promised we'd talk about, but it makes friends with your potato salad, macaroni salad
Okay, good. They need friends
kind of
because they were
idea.
just totally rejected earlier. So,
This is a grain-based salad, and it has um you make the dressing. It has all the ingredients for the dressing. It's a vinaigrette, and then you chop up arugula and mint and feta cheese and pistachios and chopped apricots. And
dried
it
apricots.
sounds like, yeah, and it sounds like a really
Interesting.
interesting combination.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there is something that happens when the mint and arugula and those
Hmm.
apricots with the feta come to play together. It's a
Interesting.
party. It's super good. Yeah. And if I
Interesting.
could find, I think I can find the link to the recipe. I'll put it in the show notes, because
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites. And it's a grain-based salad. So it's a really nice addition, to like a protein entree, or
Right.
you could even, I've been known to scoop some grain-based salad, like a quinoa salad or something that I've made, and add it to a green salad, like later
Mm-hmm.
on, and kind of make a lunch bowl out of all of it. So
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
See, I like more like I like dried cranberries on a salad, but I prefer more like fresh. Like I like cut up strawberries. I like blueberries, apples and pears, even
Oh yeah. Yeah.
even peaches sometimes. Kind of depends, but I do like those fruits on a salad a lot. One of my favorite salads I've ever had was. Have you ever eaten at Tucano's up there in Boise? That Brazilian grill.
Oh, once. Yeah.
Did you have their like spinach salad thing?
I
So
can't
it's
remember.
it's it's just leaves of spinach. I think it's feta cheese, strawberries and blueberries, and then like a citrus vinaigrette. That's it. Oh, it's so good.
So simple.
So simple and delicious. Like I could make myself sick off of that. And it's, four things, five things. It's so
Have
good.
you ever tried to replicate it?
No, we've
I'm
talked about it
guessing
a
the dressing is
bunch.
probably the crux there,
Yeah,
like getting that
yeah,
dressing just right.
yeah. Which you might be. I mean, just any good citrus vinaigrette might be okay. And I've honestly never really. I think I've made dressing once, but I've never really gotten into that making
Hmm.
dressing, which I should, because I like salads and I like different dressings. But
And it's super easy.
yeah, and that salad is one of my favorite things. I think probably I'm gonna say it's in the top 20 of favorite things I've ever had in my life. Which that's pretty good,
Wow.
right? That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty high on the
it's
list
delicious.
for a
Yeah.
boring old salad.
I know, right? Stupid old salad. Yeah. But so I like those. I think blueberries are kind of a fun surprise in a salad because you don't
Hmm.
see them often, but I think they work well, especially you have like, like chicken and some sort of citrus vinaigrette or something. They
Yeah.
they work
You get
really
that
well.
savory sweet kind of
Hmm.
thing going on.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope this is inspiring for people to think about salads in a different way. And
Yeah.
I mean, really think about the textures going on, the flavors. And we didn't talk about temperature variations, but that's something else that
It's
I
true.
will
A hot
well, we talked
salad.
about the grilled kale Caesar,
Hmm.
that's a cooked grilled option, but I
Hmm.
will often use leftover roasted or cooked vegetables, so like sauteed mushrooms or leftover roasted peppers or something
Mm,
and use those up in a salad too. So get creative with how you reuse different components of
yeah.
leftover meals and things in salads, because those
Mhm.
could be your flavor enhancers.
Right.
Anything cooked or that's already been seasoned and like you said, taco meat is another really great
Mhm.
option too.
Yeah.
I think we can make salads just a little more
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I think you can use probably most proteins that are left, as long as they're not like a part of something else. But I'm thinking like, I mean, you could use pulled pork in a salad. You
Mhm.
could use like, I mean, shredded chicken for tacos or carnita meat for a salad. Um, you know, yeah, you can get real creative with meat that you have left over for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's and salads can be so varied. They can be as
Mhm.
varied as any other kind of staple, if not more so. I mean, you can really make them, yeah, pretty versatile and have a lot of
Yeah.
different
And get
experiences.
all of the food groups at once, get lots of nutrition, maybe
Hmm.
incorporate some things that you want to incorporate more of in your diet, but you just haven't found a way, like beans or fish or something like that. And yeah, enjoy, get
Yeah,
inspired, try something new, and
get crazy with it.
say goodbye to your boring iceberg lettuce with ranch on
Yep.
it.
That's the tagline. Say goodbye to your boring salads.
Do you have a meaning in the mundane to share?
I do. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit. So I mentioned my brother was in town. So that wasn't a mundane thing, right? Like he hasn't, this first time he's ever come visit me down here because
Mm-hmm.
pandemic and everything. And so that was a very non-mundane, out of the ordinary thing. But um, one of my favorite like parts of the whole weekend was after the kids are in bed and asleep, Kathleen had gone to bed, and it was just him and I in the living room, just hanging out, watching something, maybe playing video games or at the dining room table playing cribbage. Just this very easy, unexciting thing that
Mm-hmm.
was so fun for me because it was just getting to hang out. It wasn't an event. It wasn't, there was no pressure for anything. It was just getting to hang out with my brother. And so that was every night that he was here. It was just this real fun, easy, uh, almost seemingly boring kind of thing where we were just hanging out and being together. But it was really, really, really fun, really good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's
I
mine.
like that. I like
Yeah.
just being with somebody, just being
Hmm.
in the presence of somebody and you're so comfortable that you can
When
just
it's
hang out
easy.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, say
Yep.
something or not say something. And
Yeah. And the thing you're
it's good.
doing is being together, right? You're not
Yeah.
like, I mean, you may be doing other things, but that's not the point,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes when you don't know people, so you got to have an activity or something. But like what the main thing we were doing was just spending time together,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was
Good.
really nice. Super fun.
Oh, I'm so glad he got to visit.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
Mine was at Matt's party in the
Hmm.
park, and we had it at this kind of open pavilion area. And it was a little, I mean, it was warm that day. I think it was in the upper 60s, but it was a little chilly in the shade. And so I took we went, had a taco truck there. I went and got my food and just sat out in the sun. And it was away from the people that were mingling, and I sat at this picnic table and I made a conscious decision to just keep my phone put away because I didn't
Hmm.
want to be that person
Right.
sitting there eating and be on my phone and be
Right.
unapproachable. Plus, y'all are holding me accountable with this mindful eating thing that, if I'm going to be preaching it to you guys, I need to practice
Better do
it.
it. Jeez.
And it was really nice just to sit out there and observe the crowd. I have been to countless social gatherings and parties of various sorts in my life.
Hmm.
And I can never remember feeling what I felt that day, just
Hmm.
watching these people talk to each other and come together for the first time in over a year.
Hmm.
All of these people, several of whom were at our wedding when we got married, and just watching humans interact and
Yeah.
watching this unfold and realizing how different it is to be in the space of other humans and to
Yeah.
see their faces and,
Yeah.
to be able to hug if you're vaccinated and to be able to just like, oh, you see somebody else arrive and you can just go talk to them. It's just so
Right.
different from this whole virtual, disconnected kind of environment that we have had.
Yeah.
So it was just a wonderful feeling. And I mean, of course, I had people come over and, sit and chat with me and,
Mhm.
I'm enjoying my meal while all of this is going on. It was just delightful. I enjoyed it.
Yay. I like that a whole
I
lot.
know.
Isn't it crazy how there are these simple things that I think we so easily took for granted a year and a half ago that now like have so much meaning and value.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I got
Like
to
you don't
be with
realize,
people.
yeah, human behavior and how
Yeah.
just being in the space of other people, how it actually influences your behavior,
Mhm.
your body language, the way you speak to each other, the way the conversation might shift organically in different ways, and just that connection. Yeah, it's quite profound, and I have a
Mhm.
whole new appreciation for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Awesome.
was nice.
I like it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Well, thanks for indulging us on that salad discussion, everybody.
Yeah. I hope you had a great time. I think we did a good job. I think we did a good job making salads seem
Yeah.
somewhat interesting.
I will try to put some of the recipes we talked about in the show notes
Cool.
as I can find them. But if you heard one that you want some details on, I mean, I get texts or messages from a lot of you. Hey, Erin, what was that thing you talked about? Reach out to us. You can email us at middleish@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, middleish_podcast. And yeah, we're happy to
Yeah.
answer your questions.
And share your salads with us if you got a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd like it.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate your weekly support. It's I know I say this a lot, but it really means so much that there are people who really enjoy and find value in what we're doing here. So we really want to say just thank you very much for your support, for listening and sharing and rating and reviewing, all that stuff.
Yeah. Have a good day, you guys.
See you guys. Bye.